You're listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. Hey. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I've got a little story I thought might be worth sharing because I suspect some of you have run into this before when you're talking with a Muggle friend or family member about conscious creation. I just kind of suspect many of you will be able to relate to this story. So it starts with, I met a guy. Yeah, I met a new guy who was so cool. Notice I just used past tense there. I'm sure he's still super cool. But I was so excited to meet him because he was in seeking mode. It was so exciting. He was super well educated and he was just stepping out of a really strict belief system based on a religion that hadn't really... I'll just say this. It was new for him to be looking in new areas and studying new things, asking new questions, entertaining new ideas. It was so exciting. And guess what? One of those things he was entertaining was, like when he learned that I'm a manifesting coach, he was kind of excited about that because he knew about it. But he was also a little dismissive of manifesting. He was kind of like, yeah, I read about that. Like it wasn't the life-changing thing that it was for me. Because he said that when it came down to it, like he believed in it in theory and everything, but in practice, he had never been successful at manifesting something specific that he wanted. And I said, you're talking to the right girl. Not only is this my forte, but this is my joy. So I invited him to an experiment where we would both manifest something specific that we wanted, and it would be super easy. And I was so excited about it. So I told him, this is all we got to do. Just got to think about something that we want. And I know a lot of LOA teachers suggest that you pick something that you don't have any emotion around, like, blue envelope or red feather or something like that. And I get that. The reason they say that is because sometimes if we pick something that we have strong desire around, we might also have strong attachment to, and that need can get in the way of allowing it to unfold for us real easy. So they're saying, pick something that you don't have any emotion around. I get that wisdom, but I think it's more fun. I think it works a little better if it is something that we have some desire for. So I suggested to him, this is just basic practice project stuff for conscious creators. So I invited him to think of something that would be fun, something just a little, even if it was just a little bit of delight, not something that he felt like he needed or was a big deal by any means, but something that would just be kind of fun to see it manifest. It just so that it has a little bit of desire around it. And he picked buffalo nickelhead. Yeah, he didn't tell me where that came from, but for some reason it was meaningful to him, and he had just a little bit of desire around it. It would be fun. It would be delightful. And I just came up with fringe. It's what came to mind when I thought of something that would be fun, that would make me smile. Fringe is what I thought of. So I told him, here's how we do it. You just focus on buffalo nickelhead for a couple moments. I said not like maximum a minute, not very long. You just think on it and maybe smile a little about how it's going to feel when it manifests. And I'll do the same thing about fringe, about how good it feels, when you're running. Okay, so I just did that, invited him to do it too. And then I said, and then we just let it go. We just watch it unfold. Don't go looking for it. Don't think you have to do anything else. Don't make this work. Like, don't put effort into it. We already did the effort. We just focusing on it. That activates it. Then we just let it go. Let universe play with it now. All we got to do is recognize when it shows up. So he said he was game. I think we did. Did we do this all via text or talking? I can't remember. Probably talking. Okay. Anyway, a couple days later, the first time I got fringe was, I remember I was helping another friend. He was kind of redecorating his bedroom. Okay, I was redecorating his bedroom, and I suggested he needed a color of something. I said, a blanket right here on the foot of the bed would be really good, and especially if it matched that color in that chair and that color in that painting, it would be perfect. I said, I know exactly the color, and he didn't care that much. He was just happy to turn it over to me. So I said, I will find the right color blanket for this, and I had joy in my heart for it. So I was online looking for that perfect. In fact, how cool is this? This is how easy it is. Law of attraction, you're so cool. I'm looking at something, the color of that right now. It's a very unusual color, but I have something, that color, in my world right now, right in front of me. Of course I do, because this is how law of attraction works. Okay, so anyway, while I was online looking for that blanket, that specific color blanket, I found it with a blanket that had fringe on it. And I didn't love the blanket enough to get that for him. It also wasn't thick enough, but it had fringe on it, so I got fringe. So I texted my other friend and I said, ta-da, I just got fringe. And I was very pleased with myself. And I think he said, yeah, still no buffalo nickel heads for him. Then I was in a conversation. I might have even been talking with a client, I bet. And I almost got his buffalo nickel head. I think what happened was, someone used 2 of the 3 words. It was like they either said buffalo head or nickel head. And it was really close. It was really, really close. But it didn't fully count. But I either told him or I posted this in the GVU forum. We've got a thread in there on light touch manifesting. That's right. I did a call at GVU recently on how it was my theory that a lot of us are making this harder work than serves us. We're trying too hard. We don't even recognize when we're not letting it be easy, but this is so easy. So I was inviting us all to just experience the power of a light touch, that a light touch leads to big magic. So anyway, I was smiling that I almost got his buffalo nickel head too. And then I got fringe again in some way that I can't even remember. But I texted him again to say that I got fringe again in this way. And he wrote back to say, yeah, still nothing for him. And he's like, wait, why are you getting my buffalo nickel heads? And I'm like, it's because we both focused on it. He's like, I'm not getting your fringe. So he's not getting anything specific. And then, I was talking with yet another friend who had a couple dollars on him. And I'd never heard of this before, but apparently there's some website where you can track currency. You know how they have like numbers on them, long serial numbers? There's a website. I can't remember the name of it. Was it called Where's George or Tracking George? Something like that. Where like they put a stamp on it with the website URL so that if you get that bill, that currency bill, you could go online and register that you had it and who you got it from and where it went to. So they're just tracking the movement of currency. It's kind of fun. All right, so he had 2 of those. I'd never heard of it before. So he was like, well, go log on. Let's register these. So we were doing it in the process of this conversation. And it was kind of fun, actually. So we're talking about currency, and he tells me about how there's someone who, well, more than one, apparently someone's reshaping coins. Like they're sculpting real coins and turning them into other images. Like there was one that had a skeleton, like they'd turned someone's face into a skeleton. So they'd turned someone into, anyway, I thought, is this photoshopped? Are they really doing it? He said, yes, these are real coins. You could buy them. He said, you can go on Etsy and look. And he said, you could find buffalo head nickels for sale. Or buffalo nickel heads, whatever it's called. I just burst out laughing because there I got the other guy's buffalo nickel heads. I texted him to tell him about that. And he reported still nothing for him. And by now we're like a week in, it's a bit like every other day, something's happening for me, nothing still for him. And after I finished that exchange with him where he said, yeah, still nothing, I realized, duh, Jeanette, he is getting something very specific. You recognize this, right? He is manifesting something very specific. He might not want it. Or maybe he does. Maybe he wanted to be right. But he was manifesting that he's not manifesting what he wants. He was manifesting that. He says, yeah, sounds great in theory, but it just doesn't work for me. And here it was, working for me all over the place and not for him at all, which was kind of proof that he is indeed manifesting what he's focused on. I texted him that. I don't think he appreciated it that very much. I think he thought I was like thinking of this creative way to try to prove myself right and him wrong when he was, and I'm like, you're just doing it even more. But I let him have it. If that's how it's going to be for him, that's how it's going to be for him. He doesn't have to be a conscious creator if he doesn't want to be, except that he is. Because he texted me a couple weeks later and he said something like he's ready to manifest something good in his life. And look, I did not take the bait, because a guy who's got a story that he can't manifest, as long as he's got that in place, how much fun is he really going to have? And also what I thought was kind of frustrating, that for as much as he studied, he doesn't realize that, and he's a smart guy, he didn't realize that manifesting isn't something that you just turn on when you realize you have something you want. You're manifesting every moment, every day, everything in your reality. You created all of it. And he didn't see that. He wasn't taking credit for that. It was kind of, you've been in those conversations before yourself, right? When someone argues something and like that's proof of how they're doing it, and yet they don't see it that way. I mean, both of us, he and I, are both proving ourselves excellent, successful manifestors. But he is not going to own that. He's not going to own that. Every moment, though, everything in every moment of every day is a manifestation that we create. It's not just dream jobs and new girlfriends and a healthy body. It's the lack of buffalo nickel heads because you know that you don't get what you specifically want. It's the lack of romantic success because you're doing heartbreak from the last one instead of excited about a new one. It's prospective employers who don't call you back with an offer after an amazing interview because you're doing unemployed and can't find a job instead of enjoying your new work or even enjoying your time off. Ooh, speaking of unemployment and enjoying it, got another episode that I want to share with you. But I got to do that. Yeah, that is a separate episode. Let's go there now. See you in the next one. Bye, everyone.